Hey, did you hear the latest? This is, I think, further proof. Not that any is needed. God knows there's no proof needed. But Trump is losing his mind. He has entered that stage, I think, that so many people like him enter. People have spent their whole life being paranoid and a coward and making shit up. Eventually, they fall into their own fantasy world and cannot escape. And I think it's a precursor to a total collapse, mental collapse, a total break with reality. How do I know this? I'm not a psychologist, psychiatrist, or anything of the sort. But I witnessed this in my own family over about a 4-decade period, years and years and years ago. And it was at the moment that I observed it and watched it and had to suffer through it, it was not my sitting back someplace with a little notepad taking notes. No. Observing this mad behavior. No, I was actually living in it. It was somebody else's madness, but I was living in it. And it was only after, 15, 20, 25 years of therapy that I was able to sort out and take sort of a clinical look at it after I went through all the emotional shit, but eventually a clinical look. That was necessary in order for me to find some sort of forgiveness for the person who had committed these atrocities. And I didn't think I could possibly get to a level of forgiveness, but eventually I did. All of that just as a preamble to what I wanted to talk about the orange ape. He's losing his mind completely. And we can see it on a day-to-day basis. We can see it in his gibbery kind of news conferences, his unending gaseous bullshit that just comes pouring out with no coherence, no progressive. You can't follow thought A and then thought B and then thought C with Trump. He doesn't work that way. His mind is going. It is really going. And the latest, for the second time in 2 days, the orange ape claimed that an airplane filled with left-wing agitators was or had been or may be seen traveling somewhere within the United States. Yes. Now, this is what Trump said at Joint Base Andrews this morning before he left to go to Kenosha, Wisconsin. This is what he said, quote, "A person on a plane said that there were about 6 people like that person, more or less, and what happened is the entire plane filled up with the looters, the rioters, the anarchists, people that were obviously looking for trouble. And the person felt very uncomfortable on the plane." End quote. Ooh. Oh, my God. Now, that talk of a plane filled with the looters, the rioters, is confusing even some of the orange ape's most ardent knee pad wearing supporters, and some who have made it a habit to ignore this jerk off, sometimes bizarre tangents. When he goes off talking about this or that or the other thing, and it just gets insane. But Yahoo News reports that Trump has spent the last several weeks attempting to link Joe Biden to the troubles in a number of American cities this month. But that hasn't worked because Biden, there's no way you can do that. But now it appears that the ape has taken that attempted slandering of Biden in a more conspiratorial direction. But that's all Trump lives for, is conspiratorial bullshit. We do know that, right? Of course we know that. Now, the Orange Ape, it still hasn't revealed the identity of the person who saw these left-wing looters and burners and rioters and anarchists all on board a plane. God knows how they got their plane tickets, right? But there they were. So he won't reveal the identity of the person who saw all this and, immediately got a hold of the Orange Ape and said, Mr. President, listen. But this is what Trump said this morning, quote, I will see whether or not I can get that person to speak to you, but this was a first-hand account of a plane going from Washington to wherever, and I'll see if I can get that information for you. Maybe they'll speak to you, maybe they won't. End quote. A plane load of rioters, anarchists, looters. Remember during the campaign when Trump was working that birther bullshit against Obama just as hard as he could work it. And at one point he said that my people are in Hawaii. Even as I'm standing here speaking, my people are in Hawaii. They're checking all this out. I'll have this information for you this afternoon. My people. Oh my God. Anyway, Trump initially brought up that plane bullshit with Laura Ingraham from the Fox sewer. And that interview, if that's what you can call it, aired last night. And the ape linked that plane to, quote, how people that you've never heard of, Laura, people that are in the dark shadows are controlling Biden. End quote. And even Laura Ingraham, a nutbag if one ever existed, and who would get out her knee pads and go down on her knees in front of Trump in a heartbeat. She's that much of a supporter. But even she said, what does that mean? That sounds like conspiracy theory, dark shadows. What is that? She asked the ape. The ape answered, no. People that you haven't heard of. They are people that are on the streets. They're people that are controlling the streets. We had somebody get on a plane from a certain city this weekend, and in that plane, it was almost completely loaded with thugs wearing these dark uniforms, black uniforms with gear and this and that. They're on a plane. Ingraham, where is this? The ape. I'll tell you something, but I'll tell you sometime, but it's under investigation right now. But they came from a certain city, and this person was coming to the Republican National Convention, yeah. And there were like 7 people on the plane like this person. And a lot of people were on the plane to do big damage. End quote. Oh my God. There were 7 people, a lot of people, and they were going to do big damage. And they were on this plane from a certain city. Now, NBC News reported earlier today that Trump's claim is very similar to a viral Facebook post from June 1st. The post was by an Idaho resident. It doesn't name the person in this article, but that Facebook post on June 1st that falsely claimed this, quote, at least a dozen males got off the plane in Boise from Seattle dressed head to toe in black. Be ready for attacks downtown in residential areas. And one passenger had a tattoo that said Antifa America on his arm. End quote. Now, that was posted June 1st by some nut-crazy bastard in Idaho, which, by the way, is chock-a-block with nut-crazy bastards. especially Coeur d'Alene is a good place to begin. If you're searching for nut crazy bastards, start in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. They grow nut crazy bastards out there the same way we grow, I don't know what, oranges or peaches or peanuts here in Georgia. Nut crazy bastards. Plane load. Here they come, clad in black. And one had a tattoo on his arm that said, Antifa America. Ooh. So, as we know, the orange ape, because he is a sick, degenerate, going senile, white American male, and his coterie of followers, his inner circle, have continued to push fear of left-wing mobs while avoiding the real violence in this country from the right. After saying believers in the violent QAnon conspiracy theory are people that love our country, the ape said last month. Yesterday, Trump said Kyle Rittenhouse, the 17-year-old crazy little shit accused of killing 2 people in Wisconsin last week, may have acted, according to the ape, in self-defense. Oh, yeah, there you go. Self-defense. He arms himself in Illinois with an assault rifle, travels to Kenosha, Wisconsin. Well. The orange ape said, quote, that was an interesting situation. You saw the same tape that as I saw, and he was trying to get away from them, I guess it looks like. He fell, and then they were violently attacked him. And it was something that we're looking at right now, and it's under investigation. But I guess he was in very big trouble. He probably would have been killed. Hey, dumb shit. He was the only one in that entire scene who was armed with a big badass rifle that shoots many, many bullets, many, many quick seconds, the boom, boom, kill, bang, glee. Right, ape? Hi, Truth Seekers. Mike Malloy here. As you know, we've switched formats and are now broadcast exclusively on the Progressive Voices Network. So that means you get fewer program interruptions, no corporate commercials, and lots of profanity. But our format change also means some of our radio listeners no longer hear the program. It's been a while since I mentioned our podcasts, so you may have forgotten that there is a way to listen to this program anytime you need a good dose of screaming. Visit MikeMalloy.com and subscribe to our podcast. You have your choice. You can listen to The Ranting with the audio podcast or listen and watch me lose control with a video podcast subscription. As a podcast subscriber, you can download the program to your mobile device and take me with you wherever you go. And if you have a friend who needs a dose of truth-seeking, you can give a gift subscription as well. That's MikeMalloy.com. And never miss a minute of the uncensored fun and frivolity.